Hey everybody, my name is Brian. Today we are here at the Phoenix shop and we're going to be talking about how to chain up, when you should chain up, or why you should chain up and what you should carry. So, when it comes to snow chains, one of the things to notate is that you need to know what state requires how many snow chains and when that law goes into effect. Every state's going to be different. Typically, if you have a Rand McNally Road Atlas, you can find that information in the front of your Rand McNally Road Atlas as well by going to each individual state's website and see what their requirements are. In general, the rule of thumb is that you are going to need to have chains for your drive axle tires as well as your trailer axles. So a good rule of thumb is to ensure that you carry 4 bags of chains with you. Each bag of chain should have 2 chains as well as your cam lock tool. Without this cam lock tool, these chains are absolutely useless, so make sure that you guys, when you do your pre-trip check or when you're moving into a new truck, you do ensure that you have it. When it does come time for you to chain up out here on the road, some of the things to make sure that you have and to keep in mind of, make sure that you have gloves, make sure that you have cold weather gear, as well as make sure you're wearing your safety vest. Always ensure that you find a safe place to pull over off to the side of the road, that way you are not putting yourself or anybody else at risk while chaining. One of the things with chains is they are to help you get out of a situation. Say for example, you are going over a mountain pass and you find yourself where they throw the chain law into effect. You want to use these chains to get yourself down the hill, get yourself into a truck stop or somewhere that's safe to park. Never use chains as an advantage to try to push yourself further when you have the ability to park safely. Now from this point, let's go ahead and dive into how to actually chain up and what you should do. Is take your chains, lay them out flat, and we want to actually inspect our chains and verify that we don't have any broken links. We also want to make sure that all of our cams are in the unlocked position. One important thing to notate when you are looking at your chains, if you look at the hooks, you want to ensure that your hooks are facing outward. In this scenario, I have them facing down right now, which means that when I go to grab my chains, they would be wrong. Always verify that your hooks are on the outside so you don't cause any damage to your tires. Make sure that all of your cams are in the unlocked position. Looking at your cam, when it's closed, this would be your closed or locked position. This would be your unlocked position. We want to make sure there's no tension on the chains as we go to put them on. Take your chains, pick them up from the middle point as to keep it even on both sides. We're going to come over to our outer tire. You will always chain your outer tires. Drape it over so that it's even and you have even length on both sides. As I stated before, at this point, verify and make sure that your hooks are facing outward so that you do not cause any damage to the tire. From here, the next thing we want to do is find the ends of our chains, drape them underneath the tire, and make sure that we hook them equal on both sides. One thing to notate that when you go ahead and you get the inside tire latched up, make sure you count your links and verify that on the outside you have the same amount of links tightened. In our case, we have 3 links on the inside. From this point, we just want to adjust the chain, make sure that everything is nice and even all the way around. Now we're going to take our cam tool and actually tighten up our cams. The thing to notate when you're tightening your cams, you want it to be tight around the tire, but not so tight that you can't get your fingers inside. Now that you've got your cams tightened, what you want to do now is go ahead, pull forward, check your cams again, as well as verifying your fitment to make sure that it's still nice and snug around the tire. When you're using snow chains, you want to make sure that you go at a slow enough pace. It's not recommended to exceed 20 miles an hour while using snow chains, as well as every 500 feet, it is recommended to pull over, verify, and check to make sure that you have the proper tightness to ensure that you can arrive at your destination safely. Once you've gotten out of your chain restriction zone, make sure you go ahead, find a safe place to pull over. That way that you're out of the way, you're safe, you're not gonna have to worry about causing any injury or harm to yourself or anybody else. Make sure you go ahead, put that safety vest back on, get your cold weather gear on as well as your gloves, we're gonna go ahead, exit the vehicle. We're gonna come to our chains, and the first thing we're gonna do is unlock all of our cams, undo the inside or the outside chain, your preference. I prefer to start with the outside. In an ideal scenario, you would like to have your chain points to where your hooks are at the top so that you can easily drape them over your tire. In this scenario, as we've shown you here, they are at the bottom, so we're going to lift our chains off of the tires. We're gonna set them back out. And we wanna do a visual inspection just to make sure that we don't have any damage to any of our links, any of our hooks, or any of our cams. From this point, we can take our chains, put them back into our snow chain bag, and put them back into the storage compartment on your truck. We ran into a perfect scenario to where our chain hook points were at the bottom of the tire. That means we were able to lift our chain off the tire. In a scenario where you have your chain points at the top of the tire, you could undo them, lay them flat, and very slowly pull forward or backwards away from the chain so that you can get out from under the chain. The reason we do not recommend this method is on a front axle drive tire, you can cause slippage, which could cause damage to your fuel tank or the body panels on your truck. Thank you guys for watching our tutorial video today on how to install your winter weather snow chains. Make sure that as you're out here during the winter, we want to make sure that you are safe as well as everybody else on the roadway. Make sure you check the Local States 511 app, or for more information about how to be prepared during the winter weather, make sure you check out the Knight Driver Hub, as well as going to the knightdriverhub.com if you have any questions or concerns.